Okay, I know this is going back a few years ago, but we actually have a little bit of a connection. I was working on Canadian Idol when you were on the show.
Really?
I was kind of like one of those stand-in kind of guys.
You call that working?
Well, it wasn't working, but...
My shoes are on TV!
It was a decent summer job.
I had a buddy
that is a good summer job.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Basically, what did Canadian Idol teach you that you've kind of brought into the new formation of Hedley? Whether it's for your stage presence, whether it's your song, your writing, your delivery. What did Canadian Idol do for you?
What did it teach me? Ultimately, I think I learned from Canadian Idol to not trust anybody. But outside of that, I felt really privileged to have been on that show and then sort of been thrust into the industry that I was put in, because it really kind of gave me like an advanced class on what production is like. It was a very fast-moving production. It was quite complex. There was a lot going on. Live television is really crazy, so it was almost like a pressure cooker, and it was almost like when you put somebody through a really crazy experience, they learn from it, they grow from it really fast, and I felt like I developed a lot of skills that I've taken with me up until now in terms of preparedness and being able to handle really intense live situations, like the idea, even just battling psychologically with the idea that there's 2 million people watching you through that little camera hole right there. That can really throw you off when you're about to do a performance. So I think that really helped just sort of me be able to kind of handle a lot of the situations that we've been through since then.
You guys are on a big Canadian tour right now. So far, it's going very, very well. I've seen a lot of your online videos and your blogs that you've been doing. Highlights so far, or?
Well, here's what I'm looking forward to. Peterborough's got this giant lift lock.
Yes,
it's the world's largest lift lock. And I know we've been doing updates every day, and we thought maybe for Peterborough we'd go down to that. Barrie's got a spirit catcher that's actually part of the old Expo 86.
That's right, yes.
This was originally a gift from Vancouver that we gave to you guys, and we thought it'd be a great thing on this tour along the way that we kind of trade back. So if you guys would like our McBarge that we still have singing Brard in, we'll take back the spirit catcher and reunite it with the locomotive. And
when Dave's not doing this, he's a social studies teacher.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I was going to say, an even trade. We can do an even trade.
Even trade. Think about it, guys.
So it sounds like you guys, when whatever city you're in, you try to get out and explore it a little bit. Is that kind of what it's typical?
I wouldn't say so. No, we really don't try to get out and explore too much. and it really just comes down to the fact that there isn't, in most cases, enough time to do so.
Right.
Our days are quite often pretty full.
So what does a typical day look like then?
A typical day is get as much sleep as you can, because that's maybe the most important part of touring, and sleep is such a magical thing because you can regenerate from it really easily. And for me, for singing, the rest does wonders for my voice, and it really actually is important to get as much rest as possible. So outside of that, eating is really important, and kind of like timing it well so that you're not having dinner 45 minutes before you go on stage and throwing up all over the kids and whatnot. And then outside of that, we do some pretty extensive press, and then again, the content that you're seeing online takes up a lot of our time as well. There's sound checks, and we also have meet and greets that we do before every show, and that sort of is a really neat evolution, because that's something that we used to do after every show, when we could just put a table at the back of the theater and sit down and say hi to every single person in the building. And since then, and since we're not really physically able to do that anymore, it's been restructured in a way that we're still able to meet as many fans as possible before the show.
Did you manage your brunch routine this morning? It smells fantastic, actually. I was going to say, it smells really nice.
I had coffee first.
Add that to the list of things.
Well, I always have coffee first, then I make espresso, and then I have that. And then it's like pretty imperative to brush my teeth.
I've been brushing my teeth before.
These interviews get really awkward.
So we don't want to get too close and have smelly breath.
Or then you find yourself.
I've been brushing it before I go on stage. It's really nice to go on stage with a fancy breath. Ooh, come on!
What do you guys do for a pre-show routine? Is there something that you guys always get together to do, or do you like to kind of have your own space and get into the mindset of the show?
We normally all group up around an hour before a show and start warming up, getting our stuff ready for the show, and stretching and vocal warm-ups, and it's really just a bit of a hangout. It's nice to have a couple of our assistants or crew members in the room as for someone that we can berate and feel better about ourselves before going on stage. It's a bit of a confidence booster for us. But outside of that, it's
a neat feeling every night, man, when it gets down to that, 5 minutes before, we're about to go on, and, things get heated up, and, our buddy Dan comes in the room, he takes us over to the stage, then Hutch, our big stage manager, so it's like this, fun little kind of pump-up hangout, and then
he radios
walk
somebody
over
and someone radios someone else, and they go game on, and the lights turn off, and everyone
video
freaks out.
starts up.
Just a big
Then
rush.
we're standing back there waiting, and it's like no other feeling because you just know in 2 hours at the end of it all, we're gonna be back here doing it all over again the next day. It's a traveling circus minus the elephants.
And it's really funny that at this point we're kind of in a way professional enough, I guess you could say, that we don't need to be worrying about each other and hey, you need to start warming up now. We all know the deal, and it's just almost like synchronicity. We all show up at the same kind of time and start doing it. But every once in a while, someone's really late for a show, and there's been shows in the past where someone's either just slept in completely throughout the day because it was a festival
Jake's
show.
been on a bus, like literally heading to the show with shoes in hand before.
Oh yeah, I ran to a show once barefoot across Halifax because we were on, and it was like the middle of the day, and I woke up and I was like, oh crap, we're on stage right now.
Do you guys still talking about kind of the pre-show routine and the fact that it's still exciting? Is it still nerve-wracking as well? Do you ever kind of get those butterflies when you go on stage and kind of say to yourself, like, I really hope I don't mess up. I hope I hit all the notes. I hope I do all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we put so much into the performance that we have on this tour, and by that I mean the production of it and the transitions and all the little things that make that show flow the way it does. It's a lot of things relying on other things, and they all need to go right in order for it to take place properly and flow nicely.
Right.
So there is a lot of pressure on our parts to make sure that we're hitting all of our cues, and that as a band we're performing the songs well together. It's not so much scary anymore. I don't think that I sit down at the piano and go, oh man, I hope I play these next notes right.
It's a lot amount of trust that we put in each other, because you trust that your three friends are going to be as much in the moment as you for that amount of 2 hours, and that's all we're thinking about. And the four of us and all of our crew as well, and everybody that's helped us put on the show, when this is going on, that's all we're thinking about. It's putting it on for the fans and people there that have come to be entertained. Because essentially, we're just a bunch of storytellers that get to show up at a town every night and then put on a show and let people kind of forget about their troubles with some music. It's the best job in the world we have.
It's very much how a team runs, any type of team. Right? You have all the people that need to be doing their jobs and need to be in the places where they need to be to make sure that's successful.
And they all have to listen to us and do what we say.
Yeah, exactly.
So, very much like a team.
Want to talk a little bit about the Juno Awards. The nominees came down not too long ago.
They're piling up those nominations.
They are.
We're going to put them all. We're going to put all those nominations.
You guys are nominated for a bunch of awards, including Single of the Year, Group of the Year, Fan Choice. Now,
nuts.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win all of them. But let's say that you could only win one of them. Is there one in particular that means a little bit more to you, or that you say, you know what, I really hope we win this one?
I really hope we win the Fan Choice Award, because that seems to be the only one that has actual voting and real fans' opinions involved. The rest of them are a bit of the industry style consensus.
Right.
So yeah, for the most part, the Fan Choice one seems to be a pretty respectful award in my eyes, because that's where
I would just be so proud for our fans because that's when the fans winning it in that way, because they're kind of like choosing their champion. But you know what, the Junos are fun. Like, we have a good time going and hanging out. Some of the people on the tour this year are going to be there, so Classified and the guys are going to be there as well. So congrats to them. And then we just get to hang out and have some food and see Jim Cuddy and have him tease us about why we're not playing hockey.
So him.
Speaking of the fans, you guys do such a great job at connecting with your fans any way you can. You mentioned the meet and greets. You all guys also do a great job at doing the video blogs, but you also interact. I saw you guys doing a breakfast with Hedley when you were answering Twitter questions and Facebook questions. Is it okay if we ask a few questions? Some fans of B101 who love you guys.
Yes.
Have some questions that they want to ask.
We're open books.
Okay.
Ask us anything.
All right. So let's start with Amanda. Amanda says that a lot of bands don't make it very long. Some of their careers are very short. What is the one thing that is holding you guys together to continue on, to make record after record, and to continue to tour as a band?
Well, I mean, I think our ambition stems from the fact that we have a hard time settling. We've never been the kind of band that says, well, I think today we finally made it, guys. Now we're the big band. We've made it. I think for us, there's always something else to accomplish, and there's always another set of stairs to climb. And so I think that's what kind of drives us and pushes us forward.
That's what I'm saying.
Kayla wants to know what inspires the lyrics in your songs, and does it relate to any of your lives?
Absolutely. I think maybe this most recent record, more than any other record, Storms, really is a compilation of experiences that sort of build up to the release of the record, and it was a really not tumultuous, but very interesting couple of years between the last record and now. And so I think when it comes down to the time to write a record, you look around you, and sometimes it's really easy to just be pissed off at all the shit around you, so you don't necessarily want to write about the shitty world all the time. So it can be often a really positive experience to internalize and draw inspiration from, you know, within, whether it's a difficult situation in life or a love story. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, that music always needs to come from within us.
And I think that's the one thing that makes Storm such a great record, is that it's so easy to kind of take the negative spin on everything, to say, my life sucks, I'm down in the dumps, things aren't going my way, but you guys kind of look at it like, you know what, this happens to everybody, and you will get through it. We will all get through these dark storms throughout our lives. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Haley wants to know, what is, and this might be a very difficult question, but what is your favorite song to perform?
Ooh. Well,
it's easy for me.
Yeah, easy for Jake. I probably could say Jake. We both really like performing a song. The last song on Storms, I Won't Let You Go, Darling.
Which is one that you produced, right?
Yeah.
One of the ones you produced.
Yeah, special song for us that we did in the studio, and special song with a lot of fans, and we've just really enjoyed playing it every day.
The reaction that we've been getting from the fans when we play it is pretty substantial, actually, and it's really neat because it's an 8.5 minute song, but it doesn't feel like that when we're playing it live. It just zooms by, and it's a song with a lot of peaks and valleys, so it gets really intense, and then it gets really quiet, and it's just such a beautiful thing to experience every night when we play that song, where it gets really loud and then it gets silent, and you can hear a pin drop in the room all of a sudden, because it almost seems like everyone's really is as into the song as we are. It's a really captivating song to listen to, and it's a really captivating song to play, and that reaction and sort of just that parlance that we have with the crowd in that moment is always really almost like an emotional experience.
And you guys did so many takes of that song, wasn't it? It was like 40 some odd takes.
We did almost 30 takes.
Yeah, 30
We got number 29.
Yeah.
Exactly the votes.
It's always the case. Okay.
It's a long night.
And Haven wants to know,
What up, Haven?
when fans throw things on stage, posters, bras, whatever it may be,
Don't expect it back. Somebody threw a hat on stage the other night, and it looked like a nice hat, but it looked like somebody just ended up there unmistakably, so I kind of tossed it back. But then it ended up there again, so I just put it on the side stage. And, I'm like, hey, okay, it's ours, obviously.
But we've had people come up after the show and be like, "Can I have my bra back?" Like,
yeah,
what do you have it back?
What is this, like rust?
Oh, look how good it makes me look.
No way.
yeah, you don't throw it up expecting to get it back anytime soon. Yeah.
The other day I got off stage and I was like, oh, that was great. I was changing and I was like, what the hell? And inside my underwear was another pair of underwear. And I was like, oh yeah. I totally forgot that someone threw a pair of underwear on stage and I just put it in my pants in the first song. Totally forgot about it. I was like, ugh.
We usually don't encourage to throw throw stuff on stage unless it's our birthdays.
We do encourage it once in a while, though, and it gets pretty fun.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's it. Guys, thank you so much. Honestly,
Man, thank you.
You're some of the nicest guys we've ever met in the music industry, so I really appreciate your time.